The Renaissance, a period of profound cultural, artistic, political, and economic rebirth following the late Middle Ages, irrevocably reshaped Europe and laid the foundations for modern civilization. Beginning in Florence, Italy, during the 14th century, the Renaissance gradually spread across Europe, reaching its peak in the 15th and 16th centuries, and eventually influencing all aspects of life, from painting and sculpture to literature, philosophy, and science. The term Renaissance, meaning rebirth in French, was first popularized by Italian scholar and poet Francesco Petrarch, who lamented the perceived cultural decline since antiquity and championed a return to the classical ideals of Greece and Rome. The late Middle Ages, marked by events like the Black Death, the 100 Years' War, and the authority of the Catholic Church, had created a sense of instability and disillusionment, prompting a questioning of existing norms and a desire for renewal. Humanism, a philosophical stance emphasizing human potential and achievement, became a central tenet of the Renaissance, shifting focus from divine concerns to earthly matters and individual expression. Petrarch's rediscovery of classical texts, notably the letters of Cicero, sparked a renewed interest in Roman rhetoric, literature, and ethics, inspiring a generation of scholars and writers. Florence, a thriving commercial center with a republican form of government, provided a fertile ground for the Renaissance, boasting wealthy patrons like the Medici family who generously supported artists and intellectuals. The Medici family, particularly Cosimo de' Medici and Lorenzo de' Medici, became renowned patrons of the arts, commissioning works from artists like Donatello, Michelangelo, and Botticelli, and establishing Florence as a cultural hub. Donatello's sculptures, such as his bronze David, broke from the stylized conventions of medieval art, showcasing realistic anatomy, emotional depth, and a renewed interest in classical forms. Masaccio's frescoes in the Brancacci Chapel, particularly the tribute money, revolutionized painting with their use of linear perspective, chiaroscuro, and realistic depictions of human figures. Linear perspective, a mathematical system for creating the illusion of depth on a flat surface, allowed Renaissance artists to depict realistic, three-dimensional space, transforming the way viewers experienced painting. Chiaroscuro, the use of strong contrasts between light and shadow, added depth and drama to Renaissance paintings, creating a more realistic and emotionally engaging visual experience. Leonardo da Vinci, a true Renaissance man, excelled in numerous fields including painting, sculpture, architecture, science, engineering, and anatomy, embodying the ideal of universal knowledge. Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, renowned for its enigmatic smile and innovative sfumato technique, became an iconic masterpiece of Renaissance art, captivating viewers for centuries. Sfumato, a painting technique using subtle gradations of light and shadow to create a hazy, atmospheric effect, added depth and realism to Da Vinci's paintings. Michelangelo, another towering figure of the Renaissance, excelled in sculpture, painting, and architecture, creating works of unparalleled power and emotional intensity. Michelangelo's sculpture of David, depicting the biblical hero before his battle with Goliath, embodied the Renaissance ideal of human strength, courage, and beauty. The Sistine Chapel ceiling, adorned with Michelangelo's frescoes depicting scenes from Genesis, remains one of the most iconic works of art in the world, showcasing his mastery of anatomy, composition, and narrative. Raphael, renowned for his harmonious compositions, graceful figures, and idealized beauty, created masterpieces like the School of Athens, celebrating classical philosophy and learning. The High Renaissance, characterized by a sense of balance, harmony, and classical idealism, reached its peak in the early 16th century with the works of Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. The invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in the mid-15th century revolutionized the dissemination of knowledge, making books more affordable and accessible, and fostering literacy and intellectual exchange. The humanist movement, led by figures like Erasmus and Petrarch, emphasized the study of classical texts, rhetoric, and moral philosophy, promoting a more secular and individualistic worldview. Niccolò Machiavelli's The Prince, a political treatise advocating for pragmatic and ruthless leadership, challenged traditional moral norms and offered a realistic assessment of power dynamics. The scientific revolution, beginning in the late Renaissance, challenged traditional Aristotelian cosmology and emphasized empirical observation, experimentation, and mathematical reasoning. Copernicus' heliocentric theory, proposing that the Earth revolves around the Sun, challenged the geocentric view of the universe and laid the foundation for modern astronomy. Galileo Galilei's astronomical observations using the telescope provided further evidence for the heliocentric theory and challenged the authority of the Catholic Church. The Renaissance spread from Italy to Northern Europe, influencing art, literature, and thought in countries like England, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. In England, the Renaissance coincided with the Elizabethan era, marked by the flourishing of drama, poetry, and literature, with William Shakespeare as its most prominent figure. William Shakespeare's plays, renowned for their poetic language, complex characters, and exploration of universal themes, remain some of the most influential works in the English language. In the Netherlands, the Renaissance led to the flourishing of painting, with artists like Jan van Eyck and Peter Bruegel, the elder, developing new techniques and style. Jan van Eyck's paintings, renowned for their meticulous detail, realistic depictions of light and texture, and use of oil paint, revolutionized painting techniques. Peter Bruegel the Elder's paintings, depicting scenes of peasant life, landscapes, and moral allegories, offered a unique perspective on Dutch society and culture. The Renaissance, while a period of remarkable innovation and creativity, was not without its limitations, with significant social inequalities, political conflicts, and religious tensions. The Protestant Reformation, beginning in the early 16th century, challenged the authority of the Catholic Church and led to religious conflicts and divisions throughout Europe. The Renaissance's emphasis on humanism and individualism challenged traditional religious beliefs and sparked debates about the role of faith, reason, and morality. The rediscovery of classical art and literature inspired a renewed interest in secular themes and a questioning of traditional artistic convention. The Renaissance's legacy continues to shape modern civilization, influencing art, literature, science, philosophy, and political thought. The emphasis on human potential, individual expression, and empirical observation remains central to modern values and intellectual pursuits. The Renaissance's artistic achievements continue to inspire and captivate audiences around the world, serving as a testament to the power of human creativity and innovation. The Renaissance's intellectual and scientific advancements laid the foundation for the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment, transforming our understanding of the world. The Renaissance's emphasis on civic humanism and republican values influenced the development of modern political thought and democratic institutions. The Renaissance, a period of profound cultural transformation, marked a turning point in European history, laying the foundations for the modern world.